Welcome back to the AI Care Agents 24/7 AI Governance Learning Pathway. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here. Look, if you're a focused learner looking to truly grasp the mechanics of AI safety, you're in the exact right place. In our final inspection explainer of this module, we look ahead to formal verification, preparing for third-party certification, specifically in an ISO 42001 context. Today, we're going to break down exactly what to expect in Stage 1 and Stage 2 audits, how to assemble your document package, how to avoid common nonconformities, and how to maintain surveillance readiness year-round.
But hey, before we jump into the nitty-gritty mechanics of auditing, it's vital to just ground ourselves for a second in our core mission. We're a California nonprofit dedicated to building a practical, community-focused pathway to help nonprofits, legal aid organizations, and clinics move from the very real confusion of AI to governed action. In this cornerstone module, we're laying the groundwork for your AI governance journey. We really want to take the chaos and the uncertainty of adopting artificial intelligence and replace all of that with clear, verifiable, and safe operational guardrails.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, a welcome to AI governance. Second, the certification roadmap. Third, the document package. Fourth, Stage 1 versus Stage 2 audits. Fifth, avoiding common nonconformities. And finally, number 6, year-round surveillance readiness.
All right, let's get right into Section 1, the certification roadmap, navigating formal verification.
Okay, let's dive into this idea right here. Earning a third-party certification proves to your donors, patients, and clients that your AI governance is operating to a rigorous international standard. So why does this matter so much? Well, because for nonprofits, legal aid, and health clinics, trust is literally your ultimate currency. You're out there handling sensitive data and protecting vulnerable populations. An ISO 42001 certification isn't just some fancy plaque you hang on the wall in the lobby. It is the ultimate proof to your stakeholders that you are actively protecting them. Take a look at the certification roadmap on your screen. This roadmap completely takes the mystery out of the process, showing exactly when the auditor reviews your paperwork versus when they test your actual operational habits. It's essentially a 4-step journey. Step 1 is preparation. That's where you assemble your document package. Step 2 is the Stage 1 audit, which is a really rigorous paperwork review. Step 3 is the Stage 2 audit, and that is all about operational habit testing out in the real world. And finally, Step 4 is post-certification, your year-round surveillance. Seeing it laid out like this really proves that certification isn't just some sudden pop quiz. It's a highly predictable, step-by-step sequence.
Moving on to Section 2, the document package. This is your absolutely crucial first step. You simply cannot start an audit without having your evidence perfectly organized. You need to assemble your document package for the auditor long before they ever step foot in your facility or log onto a virtual meeting. We're talking about your AI policies, your risk assessments, your system logs, your impact statements, the whole shebang. Now, I know it might feel like a massive mountain of paperwork, but this brilliantly illustrates a core truth of governance. If it isn't documented, well, as far as the auditor's concerned, it simply doesn't exist. Your document package is the very first tool you need to confidently welcome verification.
All right, Section 3, Stage 1 versus Stage 2. Let's get these two audits explained.
There is a really sharp contrast between these two phases. In the Stage 1 audit, the auditor strictly reviews your paperwork. They're looking at that document package we just built to see if, in theory, your policies meet the ISO 42001 standard. But then we have the Stage 2 audit. This is where the auditor tests your actual operational habits. They're going to interview your staff, observe your daily workflows, and actively look for proof that those beautiful policies you wrote in Stage 1 are actually being lived out every single day in Stage 2. It basically boils down to the difference between saying what you do and actually doing what you say.
Which brings us to Section 4, avoiding common nonconformities, or navigating those tricky pitfalls.
First things first, let's lower the anxiety around this scary-sounding corporate jargon. A nonconformity is simply a formal term used by auditors to indicate that an organization has failed to meet a specific requirement of the standard. Honestly, it is not a death sentence for your certification. It's just a gap that needs to be addressed and corrected. Understanding this definition really helps take the fear out of the whole audit feedback loop.
So what actually causes these gaps? Well, the most common nonconformities happen in 2 places. First, gaps in the document package during your Stage 1 audit. Maybe you just forgot to document a specific AI risk assessment protocol. It happens. Second, and honestly way more common, is a misalignment between your paperwork and your operational habits during Stage 2. This happens when, say, your policy says staff must log all AI prompts, but during the auditor's interviews, the staff flat out admits they haven't been doing it. So, the absolute crucial takeaway here is making sure your daily real-world habits perfectly match your reviewed paperwork. Alignment is everything.
Finally, Section 5, Year-Round Surveillance Readiness, the ever after.
Let's move to our final phase and see how all this builds a lasting culture. You must maintain surveillance readiness year-round. Third-party certification is definitely not a one-and-done cram session where you pass a test and then immediately forget the material. The auditors are going to return annually to ensure you are still complying with the ISO 42001 standard. But here's the good news. By adopting a mindset of continuous readiness, you shift your entire organizational culture from reactive panic to proactive resilience. Your AI governance just becomes the normal, safe way you operate every single day.
So this brings us to a crucial moment of self-assessment. Let's say an auditor walked into your clinic or legal aid office tomorrow. You need to know, would your document package be complete? Do your staff's operational habits actually reflect your written policies? Now listen, it is perfectly okay if you aren't quite there yet, because that is exactly why we are on this learning journey together.
To make sure your organization is fully ready for the auditor's arrival, download the Audit Prep Checklist. You can find the link right down in the description. This checklist is your practical, totally actionable tool to help you systematically evaluate your document package and your Stage 2 operational habits long before the formal verification ever begins.
Thank you so much for joining us for this Cornerstone module. Be sure to check the description to download today's practical output and then proceed right on to the next explainer in the playlist. Stay focused, stay proactive, but before you click away, I want you to really ask yourself, if the auditor walked through your doors right this exact second, what is the very first gap they would find? Think about it. I'll see you in the next explainer.